and welcome in to Freshman Orientation. And welcome to Life on Mars, Veronica Mars Rewatch Podcast, where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Emily.
And you might notice we're in a different environment now. It no longer the UPN High School. We are now at CW College.
Oh, the network.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're here to talk about Season 3, Episode 1, Welcome Wagon.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't remember this episode at all.
No. Yeah, my Season 3 memories are very fuzzy. So we shall see how that goes.
I wonder why.
Right. I'm very curious. It's like I have a general feeling that it's like, oh, this was an okay season. But I don't have like a really, really distinct memory. But we can get it starting off with some background details on this. So, as I mentioned, this moved from UPN to CW. UPN and the channel WB at the time combined, because they're both owned by Warner Brothers, to make the CW channel. I'll give a little quiz for you. What former WB show did this show follow?
Gilmore Girls.
Yep, because they thought that the viewers were like they had like a similar audience, so it'd be like
because they were girls.
Yeah, essentially.
They had girls' night on TV.
Yep, pretty much.
Instead of just having women all over the place, all over the time. That way, like maybe women would be represented in television in a way that empowered them instead of making them feel like shit.
Mm-hmm. And so, as Thomas stated, the CW wanted some changes for it to fit in better. So he said there's like a couple thoughts on storylines that were too dark, that they ended up like doing it away with, which in this show is usually a pretty good idea. Their darker impulses are usually like not very good.
They're not tasteful either.
No.
And they don't play. They don't like. They're not respectful. If that makes sense. Like, it's not like, oh, they're like honoring people that have had this happen to them or raising awareness. It's like, no, we're using rape as a subplot.
Yes. And now it seems to be a theme setting up for season 3. So buckle in on that. There's a big giant asterisk around the like, I remember having positive thoughts about this season, not including the plot that they set up around rape.
Yeah.
Tackling college sexual assaults. I mean, it's a good thing to talk about for sure, but like very wary of where this is going.
I wonder how many women were in that writer's room.
Yeah, curious. And you may have also noticed a change in the opening. We
get moodier.
Yes.
It's my favorite. It's not. I hate it, but...
No. Oh, God. It's awful. It's the worst. That new song or remix on the song provided by the band itself, the Dandy Warhols. And as Thomas stated that it was the original series, UPN really wanted to promote it as like this high school show rather than playing up the noir. And he's like, I really wanted to, like now that we're going to college and it's like new network, I really wanted to like make it more noir. And I don't know if I would call it that, but I guess you could.
But who am I to judge?
Totally. Yeah, you get some great glimpses like Wallace at a bus stop and Weevil getting arrested and Dick and Logan going to a strip club. So, all great.
I thought that was old footage of Weevil getting arrested.
It must have been, but like I just mean that they like spliced it in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we get a 22 season or episode order for this. And this is actually the last season that ever airs on television until the eventual movie way down the line and follow up 4th season. And we get the introduction of 2 new characters this episode. Played of Piz, who is played by Chris Lowell. And I looked through his filmography. I didn't know many of the things that he was in.
No, but I follow him on Instagram because he's a photographer, I think, too.
Oh.
That's all I
Good,
got.
good photos. Yeah.
I mean, I think he takes a lot of photos of like, his wife or girlfriend or whatever. There's a lot of photos of her butt. Like they're tastefully done.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, they could be random people. I don't know. I've never bothered to look into it.
There you go.
I don't think his only photos are of butts, though. But that's
right.
my summary.
That's one that's popped out too. He was on Glow, R.I.P. That's what I knew him from, because we watched this like after the first season of Glow. I think for the first time, it's like, oh, it's that dude. But for the rest of it, I don't. Apparently, he was on Private Practice. I don't know. I didn't watch that ever show. So, and then we also get introduced to Parker, who is played by Julie Gonzalo. Who, do you want to hear a couple films that she was in before Veronica Mars?
Yeah,
she
looks
was
familiar.
She was in Freaky Friday.
Okay, who was she in Freaky Friday?
Stacy Hinkhouse.
I'm gonna need more than that.
I can't give you more. Dodgeball as Amber.
You can dodge a wrench.
Yeah. It's a Cinderella story.
Really? Is she one of the stepsisters?
Shelby Cummings. Does that ring a bell to you?
Couldn't tell you anyone's name.
Okay. She was also in Christmas with the Cranks, favored around the my family household. Not so much with me. And apparently also on Drake and Josh.
That's probably where I know her from the most.
Yeah. Episode pilot.
Oh, just one?
Yep.
Never mind then. Definitely not.
So there you go. But yeah, and then we also get a couple people that were upgraded to series regulars. So give a big hand to Mac and Lamb. They both get to appear in the credits now.
Was Lamb not in the credits before?
No.
He just sucks.
He does. He does indeed.
I can't believe Mac wasn't.
Yeah, no, she was only guest star. But she was like only ever like infrequently in it. And it's like this already. It's like she's in the first episode. We're setting up that she's like part of the orbit. Which is a big plus in my book.
Yes, we love Mac.
All
right. Well, should we jump into our first class?
Yeah. Good job. Solid. A+.
Thank you. I my strengths lie in puns.
I do.
So we start off our class with our one class. She only has one class this day, and it's Intro to Criminology. The professor gives off the vibes of like he's the cool professor, but also like he might murder you.
Yeah, totally.
Like 100% like would be like he's cool, but I'm not going to office hours alone.
He's Ted Bundy.
Anyone who knows how to get away with murder or teaches people like about criminology, like I'm suspect.
There you go. And is charismatic on top of it.
Oh God, if you're charismatic, I'm afraid of you.
Yeah.
I think people that are smart and charismatic are the scariest people in the world.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's like, oh, you can get away with shit.
Do you think that's why people don't like me?
Because you're smart and charismatic?
Yeah.
Potentially.
I would never.
Don't kill him.
I would never put myself in that category. He's definitely a Scorpio, but maybe also like a Capricorn or a Virgo, because like he could get away with it. You know what I mean? Like there's some earth in that water sign.
Gotcha.
Like he'd commit the murder, but he'd also know how to clean up after the murder, and that's where the earth sign comes in.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for translating.
Of course,
I only know high level stuff.
I'm happy to draw out his birth chart for us. We can just make it all up.
Perfect.
So our professor talks to us about how he's, he teaches this class, and we're going to learn about criminology. And he's got a TA who also looks like a serial killer. Yes.
That is Tim Foyle, who is played by James Jordan, who you may remember from the end of last season as Lucky.
He's Lucky?
Yes, that is Lucky.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have ever put that together.
Oh, so yeah, in season 2, when like Lucky came up, it's like, have we met this guy before? It's like, oh no, he's the TA. So I remembered that part.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why his face stuck out to me.
I could not. I mean, you white men look the same.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to tell us apart.
But I feel very uncomfortable in his presence in this show.
Yeah.
Obviously not as a real person, but
yeah, absolutely. Like to accost a student on day 1 in college is a lot.
Let's get them there. If you didn't watch the episode, you should probably should, because we're not going to explain it in any amazing way, but follow along. So their first assignment as a class, they're given these like pieces of something like paper, and it's like a game where it's like, okay, you have to figure out who's the killer and why it happened. And it's based off of a board game from the 80s. And of course, when everyone breaks off to like interview other people to see who has what paper and who could be the killer and blah, blah, blah. No one pairs up with Veronica because they're afraid of her because she is small and smart.
Totally.
Maybe that's my problem. And she, so instead of, feeling sad for herself, like any self-sufficient woman does, she pulls out her laptop and she Googles it. And lo and behold, even the older millennials, because you have to think these were like the first millennials to have that kind of access to the internet, knew that Googling things would be faster than talking to strangers. She finds out that there are 2 options in the game for the winners, like for who would be the killer. So she sits there and reads a magazine to annoy them. And the TA comes up and he's like, are you lost? Like, why are you in this class if you're not like going to try to figure things out? Like, you're supposed to be paying attention. She's like, oh, I know who the killer is. And so the professor comes up and he's like, which one of these guys, or who are you? Like, he says a male pronouns in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, he says, let's see, like, oh God.
If you've got him, or.
Yeah, which guy you're sending away for life or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And so then she says it, and the TA's like, how did you do that without talking to anyone? She's like, it's a game from the 80s. I Googled it. And he's like, but there were 2 options in the game. And she was like, yeah, but you used a male pronoun, so I knew it was a guy. And then he's like, well, that's cheating. And the professor's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, that's right. Just because you didn't think of it. So Veronica now holds the record for finding out who the killer was, and she did it in 6 minutes.
Yeah. Busy first day of class. Usually we just got syllabus.
You didn't solve a murder?
No. I took the wrong classes.
I didn't solve a murder either. Well, I mean, sometimes we read about murder.
Oh, first
I don't know
day?
for the first day.
Yeah, I was going to say.
A lot of my classes, especially math classes, it was always like, and then we're starting. And I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, math classes notwithstanding.
No one should be forced to take math. I think we'd all like math better if no one had to take math.
I guess up to a certain level.
Yeah, you have to get to like, well, I just mean like once you've graduated high school, you've done like algebra 2 and calculus.
Oh, it's like a prereq, you mean?
Yeah, like there should be no mandatory math in college.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
I was awful at it. Some of my worst grades were in math classes. And I was a good math student, but it made me think I was dumb because I can't learn math in a lecture hall.
I was a bad math student, and I continued to not be good at math.
Somewhere in between trig and pre-calc, like that class was the last class that I was confident in what I was doing. When I took AP calculus, I was like, I'm getting an A, but I think it's because I did the homework. Like I took the test and I somehow didn't fail, but like it's not, I don't feel confident. I did not think I was passing that AP test.
Got it. Yeah.
But
algebra 2. That was where I think I got like a C plus, like one semester, and it was like, oh shit, you should probably not be in honors anymore.
No, geometry was my shit though. You put me in a geometry class and I'm thriving.
There you go.
Some angles and shit.
Nope, couldn't do it. Very bad.
But anyway, enough about our issues with mathematics and back to this weird class that Veronica's in about criminology. Also, what majors do you think take that class?
Criminology.
Do you think they have a criminology major at Hearst?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that is 100% what they're setting up.
That's so weird to me.
They're trying to think, like, I don't know how common that would be, like, in a college, but I think what they're trying to set up is that, like, she is getting her education and being a private eye.
Yeah. I just, and you got to take some good English classes in there too, because you got to be well read. That's what I always say.
Totally. I mean, she's got to hit the
prereqs.
Exact, in the GE requirements.
Well, TA Tim already now doesn't like Veronica though.
Yes, feels threatened.
You could say he's demasculated by her. You could say that he doesn't like that a woman could be smarter than him.
Yes.
And you could say that there's an air of white male misogyny already festering.
He is, he is very fragile on the inside and has seemingly carved out this space within this class as the TA where he feels important. and Chi is making him feel not important, and he is therefore mad.
That's how it goes. So then we go over to Logan and Veronica, and they're being all lovey-dovey on a bench.
Yep. Quick note: looked up where this college is like filmed at. So it's like an amalgamation of all the San Diego's colleges.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's like a USD and then like that Scripps College. You know that Scripps one that has like 14 different colleges on it?
Yeah. Not
Marymount. No. Shit.
No, you're thinking of Loyola Marymount, right?
No, yeah, but that's not. It's Scripps something. There's like 4 colleges in one space.
Yeah. This is SDSU, USD, and UCSD. But I think primarily on SDSU. But I think the lawn they show with like the like Adobe in the background with like the chapel bell there, I'm pretty sure that's USD.
That looks like USD.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed there once. Went there for a Steubenville conference to be a Catholic because I didn't go to enough youth groups, and then I got in trouble for letting my guy friend give me a piggyback ride.
Yep. No.
I was a whore. What can I say?
You know what they say about piggyback rides.
That and drinking coffee before communion. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to... They did mass in the fucking basketball arena.
Yeah.
You know how many steps that was? I wasn't going to make it down there to do communion.
Thank God I didn't... funny. Learn about this whole like not eating before ingesting communion.
You never had to do that?
I never learned about that.
You never learned about you had to fast at least an hour before communion.
No.
My excuse was always, well, the mass will be at least an hour.
Maybe people tried to tell it to me and it just went right over my head. But
yeah, your body's supposed to be like empty for taking in Jesus.
Well, the wafer isn't very filling.
Well, and you don't want to drink on an empty stomach.
That's true. That's true. And I took long sips.
Did you?
No.
Do you ever think about how gross that is?
Yeah, I barely ever took it. So I was like, why?
Oh, I did. Because I felt like you were supposed to.
Yeah. But I think I did a couple times, and I'm just like, well, I'm just going to go back to just receiving the communion now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they really water that wine down. It's not very good.
Totally.
I always assume it's $2 check.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Jesus comes in a plastic bag.
Exactly.
Slap the bag.
It's Franzia for Mass.
Yeah, good God. Not for me. That's why we're not Jesus-y anymore.
Yeah, we drink Franzia.
Hooked on Jesus didn't work for me.
We drink Franzia without the water, thank you.
I like to slap the bag.
Exactly, just the two of us.
Oh God, that's so sad. No. Haven't drank wine out of a box in years.
No, it's fine.
I think now it would give us upset stomachs.
Oh, probably, but I think going down, it's not bad. Like, the taste of it's, like, fine, but it'd probably give me an upset stomach for sure.
I also think we used to have worse taste.
Yeah. Like, just taste buds in general?
Yeah, so, like, the memory may not hurt as bad as it would now.
True.
Also, did you ever start with bagged wine?
Let's see. Okay, yeah, there you go. All right. Well, solved.
Cat's out of the bag.
Exactly. Who's the criminology major now?
Thank you. I can't wait to get my criminology degree.
Yeah, we'll go to Hearst.
I didn't even know they had one there. But yeah, so Veronica and Logan are sitting on this bench. It's pretty campus. Clint, they talk about how they watched a Clint Eastwood marathon. Veronica offers to carry Logan's books.
Oh, I forgot to bring this up at the top when she's in class. Did we ever get... I feel like I didn't understand why she is now at Hearst instead of Stanford. Or if that's something we'll presumably get.
I think we learn more about that later.
Okay, cool.
I think it has to do with money.
Right. Yeah, but that would 100% line up. But I was
because
just
I don't think she got the scholarship, the Hearst, or the I think she got a scholarship to Hearst, and she didn't get the scholarship to...
Not the Lily Kane scholarship.
Yeah, the Kane family scholarship. Which I feel like she should have been a shoo-in. She was sleeping with one, and she was best friends with the other.
Yeah, that's why the parents hated her.
But you think they would just give her the money and get rid of her?
No. They don't have, if they don't have to pay for her. Like, we've met Celeste. Celeste does not want to do this.
True.
We haven't talked to her in a season, but
Well, no, and now that Duncan's gone.
right. But yeah, I just wanted to check in on that. I'm like, oh, I don't think we've learned about it yet, but I don't know if I missed it.
We then, while we're walking Logan to class, we learn that Dick is back. His mother bought him into Hearst. I like that they addressed that.
Mm-hmm.
And that Logan said hi, and he flipped Logan off. So Logan's like, it's going great. And Logan then shares how he feels guilty about Cassidy jumping.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you couldn't have done anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Logan, a lot more shell-shocked at the beginning of this season. We're kind of dealing with a couple people that are pretty, like...
sensitive?
Yeah, I guess so. But, like, dealing with, like, big emotional trauma from the end of last season that they're not talking about.
Repression.
Yes.
We are repressing.
Totally. Because we get some red flags around Logan's behavior a little bit later, while Dick is much more like upfront about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a very, very minor red flag from
Mac. Well, but hers isn't that she's not talking about it. She's...
Right. Yeah. Sorry. But she's still like, going through a lot of shit.
So, then we cut over to Mars Investigations, and your boy Vinny shows up.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Keith, you want to go tag team on this case I've got? And Keith's like, no, I got a case myself. And he picks up Keith's bag, and he looks in it, and he's like, I thought about getting myself a briefcase. And Keith is like, please give that back, you fucking weirdo. He doesn't say it like that, but that's what he says. And it's very obvious Vinny's snooping for something, we think.
Yeah.
But there's nothing out.
No, and it's like, damn, Keith, you really should have picked up on this one.
Mm-hmm. Then we get Veronica, who got the mail, and she's excited because something came in the mail for her, and it's the flash drive that they'd left at the hotel. So the maid mailed it to them so they could get the photos from their vacation. And the first 3 days of the photos, Veronica's alone, and she had taken selfies because her father showed up late.
I was like, I think I might know someone who would dish this up a similar way.
Who? But there we go. So then he's like, hey, Veronica, I'm going to be out of town for a couple of days. And she's like, okay, Dad. And he's like, I'm leaving Backup in charge. And we're like, yeah, good choice, because Backup's a very good boy, because we don't see a lot of Backup. But when we do see Backup, he's the best dog in the biz.
Yeah, we know Backup is very trustworthy.
Yeah, he's the most trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I would give Backup my drink to watch at a party.
Damn straight. Yeah, he would bite anybody that tried to put anything in it.
Yeah. We should get more Backup time. Should we get a Backup?
Yeah.
Our corgi would love that, right?
Yeah, don't tell him.
I mean, do you think he's going to notice?
Do you think he can hear us?
I think he can hear us.
Shit.
I also don't think he gives a fuck about us. But what do I know? He loves us when he's hungry. That's our dog.
Yeah, that's true.
So then we cut over to Wallace's dorm room.
Huge
Why does
dorm.
Wallace have a dorm room? I guess because he's an athlete.
I mean, Mac has a dorm room too.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because
because they live so close. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's like they still want the college experience, even if they're going to be close by.
Well, and it might not be that close because it's like Veronica lives on the bad side of town, remember?
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like...
As Keith says, what brings you to the good side of the wrong side of the tracks?
Mm-hmm. The good part of the wrong side of the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. But, I mean, I can see them wanting to live not in their parents' house on campus.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Exactly.
For Wallace with the athletes thing, too. It's like you got practice and shit.
Yeah, true. And he could also have scholarship money that's covering some of that.
Yeah, remember he got the scholarship.
Right. That would be going toward that. Like,
I assume they pay room and board and food. I think every athlete scholarship does.
Oh,
I know.
Well, there you go.
The basketball team, when we were at UCSB, they had like the bonus meal plan. They could get meals like 4 times a day. Like,
shit.
I mean, cool. I don't know how many times they could actually swipe in, but they had the maxed out meal plan.
But they would go like 4 times a day, I'm sure.
They would always like try to sneak out food, and I was like, I feel like if anyone stops you, it's just fucked up at this point, because like the school's paying for you to be here, like
Right.
you were only allowed to like take one piece of fruit with you out, so we'd like load them up with bananas.
Yep. That's what my roommate would do, and then when we had a physics class, he'd pass out bananas to everybody.
Marissa and I did sneak out yellow cake with chocolate frosting many times.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
But usually only one. And I think you were allowed to bring a dessert. It's just
nice.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't think, it's weird that Mac also wants to live on campus. Just like, she also didn't like being at her home. So.
She doesn't fit in her family.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's cool that like crown beanie she wears this season.
Oh my God. Jughead vibes. So yeah, so Wallace has a dorm room. It's pretty big, and he gets a knock on the door. Someone's there. His name is Piz. He's his roommate. Do you like my explanation?
Yes. Knock, knock. Who's this? Piz, the room.
He's so weird. Our first introduction to Piz is very strange. He becomes a lot more normal as the episode goes on, even.
I think they try and have him come in and like, ooh, he's just gonna like talk and whip out some like zingers. But they even described him, looking at the like background on this, as like someone. The idea for the character was someone who just like wouldn't stop talking and like gets their foot, like puts their foot in their mouth because they just like, word vomit.
I resonate.
Yeah.
I feel.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it kind of seems like Wallace is supposed to be like, funny zingers, and he's just being like weird.
It's strange, but it's fine. And then he's like, hey, Piz, I'll help you bring your stuff in. And they go out to his car, which is parked on the fucking steps.
It's like, it's almost on the stairs.
It's like parked like next to like what looks like not a dorm room, like an auditorium or something. Like it's not, I don't know what this external shot was supposed to be.
Yeah, like a class is going to get out and they're just going to like all be like funneled around his car.
And he looks in his car and all of his stuff has been stolen.
Yeah.
Wallace says, don't worry, I got you. I'm going to call my friend Veronica and she'll help you find your shit. And he's like, I'll call the sheriffs. And Wallace is like, no, you won't.
Yeah.
You will, but like, it's not going to do you any good.
You haven't lived here long, have you?
So Veronica gets there. Piz is like, no, it's fine. The local police will take care of it. And Veronica's like, my fee's $500. Trust me, you don't want them to do this. I'll only charge you if I find it. And he's like, okay. So there was this woman. She was in the front. She was blonde, and she was like, hey, I'm part of the Hearst welcome wagon. I'll watch your stuff while you go find your dorm room. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Underline it. Did everyone take a note?
Yeah, jot that down. Asterisk.
So you know how many times we go through these and I don't even know what the episode is, but on this one I know the episode title.
I'm just trying to help out.
I appreciate it. And Veronica's like, oh, where'd you park? And so they go look at the car and she's like, how? They doesn't look like anyone jimmied the lock. And she's like, oh no, I left it unlocked. And she's like, honey.
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
And he's like, well, I'm from Portland. Well, actually, like a little town outside of Portland, like a little town. Beaverton.
Sounds charming.
They're like, yeah, don't leave your car unlocked, you idiot.
Shucks, you organite. You're in this big city now.
She's like, let's go talk to your RA about this welcome wagon thing. So they go talk to the RA, who is a fucking Trekkie.
No, Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, sorry. He's not a Trekkie.
He could be. I mean, I think the circle, the Venn diagrams on those are just a circle. But
what's Battlestar Galactica then? I thought it was Star Trek.
Oh, no, it's a completely different sci-fi series.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, are you sure? She says in a room surrounded by like nerd items.
Right. He doesn't know. I've never watched Battlestar Galactica, although
looking over at Kirby and Squirtle for emotional support right now.
Yeah, it was like a show in the 70s, I think, and they rebooted it in the mid 2000s, and that is supposed to be really good.
I always thought it was Star Trek,
no.
Battlestar Galactica.
Nope.
Interesting.
Yep, separate universes.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not a Trekkie.
Well, he might be. Like I said,
Probably, but,
yeah, pretty close.
but we weren't given that. That's a context clue that I made an assumption off
about.
of.
Uh-huh.
But why I say this is because he's like, yeah, frack. And he's like, frack is the profanity of the future. There is no hearse welcome wagon. And I'm like, first of all, frack? Like, what? What?
Couldn't tell you.
I'm going to need some help here.
Yep.
And then also it made me think of how, the universe is so weird and connected that then Kristen Bell is later in a show where she says forks because she can't say fuck in the good place.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I thought of immediately.
Right. And I'm pretty sure they probably say frack at least once.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm grafting things on.
I don't know, though. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. That's not Star Trek.
Holy fork balls. It's not Star Trek. What's not?
Good Place.
Good Place. No, I know that.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
And no one did the little Trek hand thing, so.
I don't know what it is to correct you, but it's very funny. Just call it the Trek hand thing.
What is it called?
I don't know.
My mom's going to be so disappointed in me when she listens to this. I'm sorry, Mom.
I know it means live long and prosper.
That's fair. And Spock does it, right?
Yes.
I feel like I have a mental image of Spock doing it.
Yes. Believe Vulcan. It comes from Vulcans.
There we go. That's about it. That's my summary.
There you go.
So we talked to the RA. He's like, there is no hearse welcome wagon. We're like, we got to get out of here. This man's scaring us. He's making up fake profanities.
Uh-huh.
Which is like, my stepdad does that because he was worried that we all started swearing in high school because of him. Little did he know we'd been saying fuck long before he got there. But as a college student who's also an RA, I feel like it's a little fucking weird.
Yeah, but
if it's part of like the group that he's in, it makes sense. Like if he's like in, like this is how he communicates with people.
I mean, I met a lot of people in college that were like definitely weird, and that's just like
how they function.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
He's just probably like a weird dude, and but he seems like that he's just like chilling,
but not helpful at all.
No, absolutely unhelpful.
Because I was like, it's you do what you want to do with your life, and you show up exactly how you want to. Because I believe in authenticity, baby.
Yeah,
but be helpful. You're an RA.
Exactly. He's just like, I just got to make sure that you don't make too much noise or smoke weed or drink.
Really? That's what the RA was for?
Supposedly.
I thought ours was just to make sure we didn't die.
Oh, well, there's that too. I think that's like the top need, and then everything else kind of like filters up into it.
That's fair. So then we cut back over to Keith, who picks up a random man from jail.
So he's cruising for a good time, finds a man in a nice blue button up,
pulls over and says, "I'm your ride, and get in the car." I don't understand this entire plot line.
Okay.
As we go through it.
I will. Yeah, I don't understand the twists and turns, but I can tell you what the setup for this is. So if you remember last season, we learned Kendall's real name.
And she had ran the scam with the Fitzpatricks.
Fitzgeralds. Tough gang, the Fitzgeralds.
Just imagine like, oh God, like some like collared shirts and what's that stupid crocodile that's on the
Izod, right?
Is it? I don't know. Yeah, but Izod works too. One of those. Just like little sweater vest. The Fitzgeralds are here. No, the Fitzpatricks, the worst people in Neptune, the gang Catholics.
And this is Cormac, so it's Liam's older brother, and he was doing time, and Kendall and him were still in touch. And so when Kendall got her money, she had Keith
go basically get him out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they were going to run away together because they were in love.
Yes. I don't know why the end happens the way it does.
That's what I'm confused by, so.
Oh, okay. Apologies.
That's okay.
I was very unhelpful then.
You were, but it's okay because everyone else might not have known that.
There you go. Yeah, we're just catching everybody up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not all about me.
Exactly. We're all riding in the car with Cormac and Keith, and we're all just sitting in the back.
We're going through the desert.
Exactly.
rolling. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
I put on my tunes.
Yeah, I like it.
So then we head back to college, and we see a campus protest happening, and it is a woman with a shaved head yelling into a megaphone saying that she was assaulted, and her head was shaved.
Mm-hmm.
And that this is a trend that's been happening. It happened to like 7 or 8 women already that had been raped and had their heads shaved. And I'm sorry, if 8 women when I was in college had been raped and had their heads shaved, the school, like, I would have flipped a fucking, like, and people had known, it would have been fucking over for them. But this was also like 10 years before that.
Yeah. And I don't think, I would be curious to see like what a school would do in that situation. Like, what is the number that would like catch their attention for them to actually do something? So, but yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, so they're talking about this. Veronica sees Mac. She goes over and stands with her while we watch them talk about like what they want to do about this. And one of their demands is that they shut down the frat houses, which seems fair to me.
Yep.
We met some of these frat boys last season.
Yes, indeed.
They were not nice boys.
No.
And, well, granted, in my personal experience, I met many nice frat boys. I also met many fucking assholes.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a frat to make you an asshole, but it also doesn't make you less of an asshole once you join.
Totally. And there's something to be said for the environment.
But I would say even just houses of all boys can be like that.
Yes.
Any sort of male-dominated location where it's like boys specific, in quotes. College boy specific.
Totally. Yeah. There's just the capacity to facilitate larger gatherings. But yes, you're completely right.
So yeah, that's fucking nightmarish. So then we talk to Mac, and Mac's like, yeah, she's like, I'm not too worried because I'm frozen from the waist down, so I'm not inviting anyone back with me, which makes sense because she was assaulted at the end of the last season as a plot point. Yep. And then she's like, but don't worry, my roommate, and she doesn't say this in a negative way, which I appreciate, and I also think is funny. She's like, she's a 1-woman red light district. And I was like, you go, girl. Her roommate's name is Parker. We'll talk more about Parker later.
Yeah.
But
it's college, yeah.
Yeah, do your thing. Well, and also when someone is being like particularly like highly and astutely aware of that, you notice every single thing that the other person who's on your other extreme is doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. Exactly. Just even like having a couple different people over or something. It's just like, yeah.
So then a man in a Speedo runs on stage with a ski mask on, and he's shaking his dick at things and like he's got a blow up doll, I think, or something.
Yep. Blow up doll.
And so the women tackle him because women get shit done. I love, like there's one thing that I love about women. It's that like we don't take shit. It's also really hard to get rights around here. So like, please make sure that you vote. I'd like to continue having rights. Yeah. It's a goal of mine to maintain them throughout my life.
Seems like a very, very good goal.
Thank you. It shouldn't be a goal. It should be a given. Totally. They are rights. I have a right to them.
Absolutely.
But,
cemented.
We're in a little bit of a scary time for that. So when the naked man gets tackled, we find out when they rip his ski mask off that it's Dick Casablancas, because Dick is a dick.
Right. Could only be Dick.
Can only be Dick. If they're being a dick, if it walks like a dick and it talks like a dick.
They need him in the nets at least, so that's good.
Yeah. So then we cut back really quickly to Keith and Liam's big brother. What's his name?
Cormac.
McLagan.
So I had to look up outside. I don't know.
Cormac McLagan's from Harry Potter. Cormac Fitzpatrick. I cannot get the
McLagan. There you go.
Right.
Fitzgerald.
That's just a guy who's a substitute keeper on the Gryffindor team in the 6th book. Like absolutely.
And is into Hermione.
Pointless. But yeah, so we're like, oh cool, Keith picked up the Fitzpatrick that Kendall was running that last scam she was doing with before, she got involved with the Casablanca spam.
And putting up some red flags as well, asking like, so how much money did she have? Like when you saw it, like was it millions? And like Keith being cagey, but it's like.
So then, Veronica and Logan be cut to their hotel room. Well, Logan's hotel room. They're having sexy time, and then afterwards they're making out or something. Veronica goes to get water. And then she makes fun of herself for trying to bring her high school romance to college. The phone rings. Logan answers. It's Keith. Veronica's like, don't answer that. I told you not to answer it. I got my calls forwarded here so my dad wouldn't think I was missing.
Foolproof plan.
So it's fine. He, talks to Veronica. She's safe. He's safe. Blah, blah, blah. We move. Next scene, we are at the college. Oh no, we're so in the car with Keith. After he gets off the phone, Cormac's like, oh, like, how's your daughter, or something like that, or like, how'd you? Because he was talking about how he'd been late for their trip, and he's like, how'd you fix things with your daughter? And he's like, oh, I bought back her love. And so then we cut to Veronica, who's got a Saturn.
Oh yeah,
a brand new Saturn
SUV.
And she is meeting with our friend Piz, who is gonna come with her to do some sort of investigation things or something, or she's asking him questions. They're going to the sheriff's department.
Yeah, trying to track down his stuff.
And he's like, oh, Veronica has a Saturn. Her last name is Mars. And she's like, yep, and I live in Neptune. Like what's And then she makes a Uranus joke about he needs to move.
Yep.
Who doesn't make a Uranus joke when they have the opportunity?
Exactly. If you have that set up right there, bing, bang, boom.
Exactly. But it does make me think, I'm like, they're not in order. You know what I mean? Like Mars, Mercury. Like in my brain, I want them to be organized.
Right. But no, it was just like naming them as they came up.
It was a smattering.
Wait. Saturn. Yeah. Okay. Saturn's first, then Mars. Got it. All good.
Okay. As long as you're okay. Then we go to the sheriff's department. And Veronica's like, hey, what's his name? Sachs.
Yeah.
If you give me the list of all the other people that have reported their stuff being stolen, then I'll look into all of this and then call you guys when I figure it out. And he's like, okay, fine. Then my next note is, I love Mac's roommate Parker.
Yeah. So yeah. After doing some light investigating of asking around about the other people getting their stuff stolen and having Piz's story corroborated, Veronica shows up at Mac's room and meets Parker, who's in there just blasting Pussycat dolls, and Parker is just being like super energetic and like bubbly personality kind of thing, and is just talking Veronica's ear off. And we get some like weird looks of like from Veronica as like Parker like changes her shirt. It's like weird.
Oh, no, it's at the end. First and foremost, before we get to that, I want to cut to what Veronica is wearing in this scene. She is wearing a long sleeve like shirt underneath a black t-shirt, but the long sleeve shirt has like fake tattoo sleeves. This is like classic Ed Hardy. Do you remember Ed Hardy?
Yes, I do remember Ed Hardy.
It is like classic Ed Hardy with like these like sheer but tattoo looking sleeves on a shirt and then under a black shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And then under a black shirt. It's great. It's strange. And then Veronica and Mac are like, we're going to go to this concert. And Parker's like, I'm going to come with you guys. And I just need to change. And she like pops open her shirt. And I think it's just supposed to be some sort of like, oh, she doesn't care who's in the room when she changes. You know, like it's very, like this girl is very open.
Right.
But it was obviously written, I assume, by men because like these girls have been using locker rooms their entire lives.
Yeah. You get that twice from Veronica. Because, like, when she first is talking to her by, like, Parker one-on-one, Parker changes her shirt. And then, like, when Mac comes in and they both, like, exchange a look like, oi, oi.
Did she change twice?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because she's changing because she's gonna go somewhere,
Mm.
and then when they're gonna watch Top Model, which you got to bump your other fellow UPN now CW program, and then when like Veronica's like, yeah, do you want to go to this concert? And she's like, oh yeah, let me change.
Makes sense.
But yeah, and then Parker talks about her Colin Farrell poster. It's like, oh no, you don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah. Then we head off to see the band play, and it's Wallace and Piz and Parker.
And Mac.
And Mac. I just met, in addition.
Right.
And then we watch this like awful band play called Unwashed, because as a note, one of the clues we had to solve this mystery is that someone had drawn in the dirt on Piz's car because his car was dirty. Instead of writing "Wash Me," they wrote "Unwashed," which is the name of this band that they then saw performing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it had the same font titles as their
the band's like
poster.
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a question. As a white boy, when you sing, do you have to throw your chin into the air? Because there was something about watching whoever was singing on the stage. I don't know who the person actually was.
Right.
But it's like this thing, and I even noticed it when we were watching what did we watch last weekend?
Oh, Stop Making Sense.
Stop Making Sense. There's something about like white men when they sing, they like throw their neck up and like put their chin in the air and like put the microphone up. Like if you're trying to show off your Adam's apple or what?
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. This guy did it the whole time though, which is why I made a note.
It's just a rock move, I guess, man.
Isn't it just bad for your neck?
I don't know. I didn't do it when I sang in Rock Band, but that's just me.
Well, I did, but obviously, like imitation.
Yeah, well, and you understand rock a little better than I do.
Well, I do. I did watch School of Rock a lot. It was the first PG-13 movie I saw, and I was not 13.
Let's rock tonight.
Cello, you've got a bass. But I just noticed that, and I thought it was weird. Also, then we cut to everyone else in the group is sitting at a table watching, and Parker's out there dancing, having a good time. Yep. And they're like, wow, like, she's really going for it. And it's like, yeah, she came to a fucking concert.
No, I know the feeling of being like, I'm like socially awkward. I'm not going to like jump into the fray like this, which is not the case, I think, for the majority of this group. But then having to comment on the person that is having fun, of just being like, yeah, look at this person having a good time. And it's like, I wish I could have a good time.
You can have a good time. You could dance. You could drive, having the time of your life.
If I was standing up, I'd spin around.
Thank you. I love ABBA.
Yeah, ABBA's great.
Not who they were seeing, though. They were seeing Unwashed.
No, this looks like an all-ages venue and is small.
So then the band is done. Veronica goes up on stage and she's like, hey, everyone, my friend here had their stuff stolen. If you have any information, come meet us at this table. She gives some other details, but I don't remember them, and I don't think they're important.
Yeah.
Like at her,
exactly.
Like she gives like the basics. And then these young boys walk up to the group, and they're like, oh, we were at Hearst to look at the girls, because the girls will sunbathe topless, which is like not a thing.
No.
Like not on a college campus.
No.
You can't be topless as a woman in most places except for your own home in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. There might be more places than that.
Yeah. I think, is New York also?
Probably. And
cities.
Certain like locations, like nude beaches and things like that.
Ah, yes.
But
which there's one in San Diego.
But that's not at Hearst College.
No, but I'm just saying.
So we have this strange group of boys come up, and they're like, we're looking at girls, and then like we saw this woman steal stuff, or these two guys put stuff into a truck, and it was a woman, but she was wearing a fat suit.
Yeah, she was wearing a bunch of layers, so it looked like she was wearing a fat suit kind of thing. That this lady was actually thin, but was wearing like multiple sweaters over, and then they like noticed like, oh, it made her look bigger than she was.
It's strange.
The term slam and bod, I think, is used, which is used multiple times.
It makes me nauseous.
Yeah, but it's used in connection to this red herring, spoiler alert, because the other guy also uses it as well.
So then we're back in our dorm, and it's Mac is, she's going to bed. She's tired. She's out partying all night at this concert.
Yeah. At the Unwashed show, baby.
She was wanting to wash and go to bed. And they just come right out of me.
No, they're good. They're good.
She gets a knock on the door, and she hears someone yelling out there, and it's Dick Casablancas yelling to Parker. So he wants to hook up with Parker. And Mac opens the door, and she's like, Parker's not here. I'll tell her you came by. And Dick, who is drunk and an asshole, is like, you were just Beaver's beard and he didn't even like you and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Just some real awful things, which, obviously he didn't like her. He raped her and he jumped off a building.
Yeah. I think there's a lot else going on there, Dick.
Duh. She didn't need you to spell that out for her. It's just rude.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't go fucking... She already is having to revisit this looking at you.
Mm-hmm. And then he swishes his hair because this is a swishy hair time, and walks away.
Yep. Gets shooed out by the RA.
Yeah. And then we cut over to Veronica and Piz going to go talk to someone who they think might have bought one of Piz's items that was stolen from his car, which was a guitar.
Mm-hmm. Main reason is this really expensive guitar that he saved all his money for.
Veronica is wearing what I will describe to you now as an eclectic outfit.
It was very strange.
This is the part of the 2000s where I was in high school. So this is my freshman, sophomore year, style is things like this. Maybe not these particular outfits because I couldn't afford a lot of these things, but she's wearing I think it's a white tank top that has some rhinestones and designs on it. And then over it, a denim vest that's also a tank top that has a giant cutout in the back.
Oh,
but it buttons down the front.
Uh-huh.
And it is by far the strangest, but not inappropriate, just why would you bother?
Yeah.
And then Piz is wearing a brown shirt that has had the sleeves ripped off. Just the sleeves we used to do. Not how the boys cut them all the way open on the side now. No, back in my day, we just cut the sleeves off.
Yep, and it's got jersey numbers on the front.
It is some pure Zac Efron vibes.
Yes, Piz in general is an entire vibe.
So... And then Veronica's also wearing weird flare leg pants, but with a chunky belt to go with this very delicate outfit.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. So
the High School Musical came out at the beginning of 2006, and this came out in October of 2006. Coincidence?
I mean,
I think not.
I think this was the style. God help us all. And I've noticed that this is a tangent, an addendum, if you will, a fashion moment. So when I was in high school and junior high, we used to wear leggings. Well, we used to wear yoga pants. Is what we wore. We didn't always wear leggings. Sometimes you'd wear leggings. Leggings are tight at the ankle. Yoga pants in my time were flare-legged or wide-legged. They were from Victoria's Secret almost exclusively in my life. And they had a fold down waistband that was always a bright, fun color and or writing on the butt.
Do you remember those?
And then in winter, so first of all, they were flare legs. They were always too fucking long for me and most of the people I knew. So the back of them would get torn and ripped and drag on the ground. Every girl you knew at this time's pants were ripped in the back. All of my denim were like that. All of my yoga pants were like that, everything. And then when it became winter, you'd take those dirty sopping pant legs and you'd stuff them in your fake Ugg boots to keep yourself warm. And it was just a weird fucking time. And the kids I just saw on the internet, Emma Chamberlain wore an outfit that had flare leg yoga pants, which is the original Lululemon style, actually. If you want. I mean, I don't think she's wearing the original Lululemons, but
but that's
Lululemons I think used to be like that. And if you, I mean, like ours were a little too low rise. Like there was a lot going on that was problematic with what we wore. But like, it's all coming back. And I'm officially at that point now where it's like, not only are the styles I wore as like a kid coming back, the styles I wore as a teenager and preteen are coming back, and they weren't good the first time. The pants are going to be too long for the kids. They're just going to drag on the ground again. Everybody either needs to learn how to sew or get a seamstress if you're going to wear those.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a smart idea to copy the mid 2000s.
Yeah, well, I mean, this was the emergence of Victoria's Secret pink. You have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. But yes, I just had a little fashion addendum for you.
Yeah, no, good to get the word out.
It is. You wear whatever you want, whatever makes you comfortable. But when some woman in her mid to late 20s-ish looks at you and goes, "Oh God, I used to wear those," you can just let her. Just let her have her moment.
Just know why.
Yeah, and she's having a lot of feelings right now, and most of them are not pleasant. So there we go.
Be kind.
Be kind. She's going through a lot. She's worried about the fraying on the back of your pants. It might not be happening yet, but it will.
Yeah, from experience.
So we find out that the man who has the guitar, he's like, "Oh, I got it from this woman who was selling it at the flea market."
Yep.
And his name is Donald Fagan. And he's like, "Yeah." Piz is like, "That's definitely mine. Like, there's these guitar picks here, whatever." And he's like, "Oh, I'll sell it back to you for the $500 I paid for it." And Veronica's like, "No, I'm gonna find the thief instead. Thanks."
Yep.
Which I'm sure is real shitty to that guy because he was hoping for that $500. Then we cut over to the boys being creeps.
Yes. Real quick, the Donald Fagan mentions that he corroborates the same story as the kids and says like, "Oh yeah, Slam and Bod," on this like blonde that like took the stuff. And then so Veronica, to try and follow up on the lead, takes a picture of the junior that had said that she got her stuff taken, because it's like, oh, I wonder if it's this person, to show off to Piz. So then goes and finds Piz and Wallace being creepy.
And Piz is like, "I don't know if that's her. I can't tell. I don't think so, but maybe, but I don't know. But I'm too busy looking at these girls right now."
Right. And Wallace is like, "Please play hacky sack with me, Piz."
But he can't. I think this whole season, if I remember correctly, it's Wallace like just kicking the hacky sack at people. But if someone kicks it back at him, he can't kick it back.
Right. What did he say? He said, he actually has a pretty good line. He's just like, "It's white people sport."
But yeah, it's quite the thing. And I'm just like, excuse me, if all of your stuff went missing, I think you'd be more worried about your stuff than the naked girls.
Yeah.
Who aren't even naked. They're just in bathing suits.
No, yeah.
If you want to look at girls in bathing suits instead of get your stuff back, you are not worth my time.
There you go. Yeah. Veronica just wants that $500.
Yeah, I get it. Me too, girl.
She's on the job.
Me too. But it's just boys.
Yes, indeed. Being stupid boys.
So
especially at 18.
Then we cut to Keith. He's in the desert with Cormac, and the car breaks down, and they call a tow truck because Keith is like, "Oh, we could walk," and Cormac's like, "No, you don't want to die in the desert."
Yeah, we are in the desert.
And then we cut to class, and Veronica's like, "Hey, Mr. TA, I want to sign up for this program where you the mentoring program," because the guy with the guitar had also taken the criminology class before. And so she asked him, she's like, "Oh, did you do the mentoring program? What did you think of it?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I really liked it." And so Veronica's like, "Okay, I shall do it." But really, she's sleuthing.
Totally. And also gets him to say like, "Oh yeah, it was this girl in this photo." And then also notices on his nightstand, it's like, "Oh, can I borrow this picture? I always like get architecture wrong." And he's like, "Oh, this is when we were like on the Seattle Space Needle." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Like, can I just borrow this?"
I think she just took a picture of it.
Oh, she takes a picture of the photo?
I don't think she takes this photo.
Oh, I thought she took the photo.
I don't know.
Apologies.
She might. I don't remember. The TA is weird. Veronica's like, "Hey, I want to be in this program." And so she goes into his office, and he's like, "Well, you can foster these girls, or you can mentor these girls." You can foster them.
Foster program, yeah.
Good God, please don't let 18-year-olds foster.
No.
We're not even old enough to foster.
Definitely not.
Except for doggos. Well, except that our doggo won't let us foster doggos.
No.
He is our only doggo.
Yes, our only child.
He's spoiled.
Very much so.
But so then Matt comes to get the TA to leave the room. He's like, yeah, you have to pick one of these girls. And she's like, oh, because I am a girl. And he's like, yeah. And Mac's like, hey, TA Tim, the professor wants you back in the class. So then Veronica can sneak into the files. And she finds the files of the boys that came up to her at the bar or at the venue.
Mm-hmm. Sneaky, isn't it?
So sneaky. And then Veronica and Logan are eating in the dining hall. I don't know, like cafeteria-ish.
Yeah.
What's it called? Where you buy food?
Yeah, dining hall, dining commons.
But I feel like it's more of like a university center because it's like a bunch of different food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, university center. You're right.
It's the USEN.
USEN.
And she's like, hey, Wallace said he hasn't seen you in your sociology class, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And Logan's like, I haven't gone to class.
Mm-hmm. He's like, oh yeah, that's because I haven't gone.
Is sad.
100%.
But then he gives Veronica a room key to his room at the Neptune Grand.
Very cute.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, you can show up whenever you want. And she's like, but what if you have another girl over? And he's like, I don't have other girls. And I'm like, but we'd like to still ask.
Humor us, will you?
But what if you have another girl over? And so then we see Dick. Dick comes in. He's drunk. He comes over to this girl who's sitting alone eating. And the fact that she doesn't punch him in the face in that moment is only because she knows she has something better waiting.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, how long have I known you? And she's like 2 seconds. And he's like, well, whoa, I know it's a little soon, but let's move in together. And does creepy shit. And she's like, I would suggest you leaving right now. And he's like, no, blah, blah, blah. And then this big guy comes over and punches him in the face.
Mm-hmm. They get a big old fight.
Logan asks Veronica for her bag. He takes out her taser. He tases the big guy. Dick goes, what? Do you expect me to say thank you?
Yeah, after Dick gets punched a good few times, which is good.
Yeah, Dick needs the living shit punched out of him.
Mm-hmm. And he's cruising for it.
Yeah. Logan stuns. I wrote stuns Piz. That is incorrect. Logan stuns the man who's hitting Dick.
Yes, but Piz then enters.
So then Piz entered. No, I know, but I was like, what is this?
Combining notes.
Piz comes. He's like, hey, you wanted me to meet you here, Veronica? And Logan's like, I gotta go, and kisses her. And then Piz is like, she has a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh yeah, I think I've solved your mystery. Let's go do this.
Yeah. Is this the woman that stole your stuff?
Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, that's her. And so then we go watch things unfold.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica brings folding chairs and drinks.
Yep.
And Piz is like, hey, while we sit here and watch the police show up to solve this crime, why do you solve mysteries? You know that's not a normal college freshman thing to do. And she's like, oh, money. And he's like, well, Wallace told me about your dead friend.
Yeah, dude, don't bring that up. You've known this person a day.
And then he's like, is that guy from last night your boyfriend?
Yeah. Yep. Very, very 18-year-old move.
And then while this is happening, we watch the police look into the house of our dear friend. I just wrote down his name and I forgot it.
Donald Fagen.
Donald Fagen. He was running a scam with his girlfriend, who was the other woman. And they stole up his stuff. So a whole bunch of stuff was in his garage. And
he used the kids that he mentored, the juvie kids, to help corroborate and throw them off the trail.
Exactly. Then we cut back over to Keith and Kendall and Mr. Fitzpatrick. Yep. Cormac.
Mm-hmm. They all meet up at the lodge in the desert.
They're getting all lovey-dovey, and then Keith is like, hey, I'm going to go out to the car. I need to grab something, and then I'm going to leave you two here. He goes out to the car. He notices that there's a pin in his bag that says...
Van Lowe.
I couldn't remember Vinny's last name.
Uh-huh.
It was Vinny's thing, and so it's a spy pin, and it has a microphone in it. And then he's like, "Oh God, Vinny's working for Liam. This is not good."
Mm-hmm.
And he checks the glove box. His gun's gone, And then he starts running towards the house and he hears a gunshot inside the house and he looks in and it looks like Cormac has probably shot Kendall because it's just Cormac standing there with a gum.
Yep, he's chewing gum with a gun.
With a gun, and he's like, yeah, Keith, maybe she shouldn't have trusted people. And then he shoots at Keith. Keith runs away. He hides behind a rock. And Cormac's like, I'll come out for your body in the morning. And we're like, that's not good.
No, yeah, up a creek. So trying to parse this out, I think Kendall was possibly working with Liam. And then Vinny was like tracking him. I'm not exactly sure if that's the case, but I think remember. We'll find
out. And then we cut over to Mac, who's sitting on the floor outside of her dorm room, and Veronica's like, hey, are you ready to go see the movie? And Mac's like, well, I can't because our tickets are in the dorm room, and Parker's in there with a guy. And so Veronica's like, give me your keys. I'll just sneak in real quick, get our tickets, and go. So Veronica goes in, gets the tickets, and they go. We hear Parker in there with some guy. And then Logan is brushing his teeth on the balcony. He gets a knock at the door. It's Dick. He's beat up. He says, I did something really bad. Please help me. Can I stay with you, basically? And Logan's like, come in. And then he shows real sweetness, and they both cry. And it's, well, at least Dick cries. I think Logan cries a little too.
Yeah, at least on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bad fucking shape.
We then cut back to Veronica and Mac. Veronica and Mac are coming back from their movie, and then they went to a bar, I assume, or something.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And Veronica kept ordering Irish coffees, and she was like, I did not expect them to have this much alcohol. Because when I worked at Java the Hutt, you put it's like a shot of liqueur, not like a shot of liquor.
Right.
And so then Mac's like, you probably shouldn't drive home. And Veronica's like, nah. And so it was like, okay, cool. Stay on the couch. It seems like that guy's gone. So we're good. So they wake up in the morning to a scream because Parker's head has been shaved. So we can assume that she has been raped and that Veronica walked in while she was being raped and did not know she was being raped.
Yep. Finn.
It almost makes the bus crash look good.
Yeah. At least, you're not biting off sexual assault as a topic.
It's like the entire last season, they were like, this underlying theme of sexual assault. Let's just make it the whole theme.
Pretty much. God, it's such a weird...
Well, even the first season.
Yeah, it's such a weird focal point for them.
It's because men are fixated on women's virginity and innocence.
Oh, there you go.
Rob Thomas, you creep. I'm just kidding. I have no idea who came up with this, but I assume it was him.
Probably him. I mean, he's at least commanding the writer's room.
But hey, here we are watching it and talking about it, so can only say so much. But yeah, so episode 1 done.
Yeah, that's it.
Only 21 more bottles of beer on the wall before we move to the movie.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, last part aside, and very red flag warnings for stuff coming sooner on the topic of rape. This is a pretty good episode.
Yeah, I mean, for what we've got to work with, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah,
and it moves fast. The dialogue got faster.
Yeah,
it's very like Gilmore Girls, how it kind of like hits its stride. Like the dialogue gets faster in these, like the last season and this one. Like the characters get faster and the conversations get better and like have more depth to them.
Mm-hmm.
The characters become more robust.
There you go.
But yeah, so we introduced Piz. I will say that like I remember during season 3 being like the first time we watched it being like, no, like because of course we're gonna pit it to some point where Piz is, but he's interested in Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's got to be at
Very
some
obvious.
point where it's like, oh, is this a love opportunity? And I remember when I first watched this being like, I don't know if I really like Piz, but I like Piz.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think I liked him last time too.
Yeah. No, he's a very he's a good character. He's like a doofus and a boy in very like real boy ways. In terms of like one track mind of like, oh, is that your boyfriend? And just like spitting that shit out. But at least he's not like being like creepy about it or anything. He's just like stepping in it because he's a stupid boy.
Mm-hmm. Stepping in it because he's a stupid boy. That seems like about a summary of ages like 17 to 22?
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe 24, 25, possibly.
Oh God, I got you in the stupid boy phase.
Yeah, it was a long time. You could just say like 1 to
About last week.
exactly. Yeah, it's ever changing.
No. But yeah, so there we go. Any final thoughts?
No, yeah.
I am excited to see where this goes because I don't 100% remember. Except I do remember at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I remember certain aspects. And for some reason, I remembered that scene of Keith crawling in the desert.
Oh, really?
Like behind the yeah. Like I knew he was going to get shot at. But I couldn't remember if like Vinny pulls up or like if it comes from within the house.
Got it. Yeah. Nope.
But yeah, so I guess we'll plug.
Yes.
When I am not complaining about Rob Thomas and Veronica Mars, you can find me at butreallythough.com. Though is spelled THO. I am, in fact, with all of these opinions, a life and career coach. I help people figure out what the hell they want to do with their lives, and we make a plan to get it. And I worked in HR for 5 years, so I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I like saying things like fuck, so working in HR wasn't exactly for me. But we can find a job that works for you, and you can visit my website to learn all about the different ways to work with me and schedule a free discovery call. You can also follow me on Instagram at butreallythough, spelled BTRLYTHO. And if you love listening to us, if you love listening to us talk, or you like talking over us while we talk, we don't know, we can't hear you. It's fine by us. You can listen to our other podcast. It is But Really Though. It is spelled just like my website, but it is just a variety podcast where we talk about anything from conspiracy theories to mysteries to stuff we didn't learn in history to literary works of art that I've enjoyed and my favorite Wishbone episode.
Yeah. And then you can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. And you can also find me at Pyle Breton. That's PYLEBRENTON on Twitter.
Well, stay toasted, marshmallows. And welcome to college.
Welcome, college.
Woo!